Hi there, welcome to Two Birds. I'm Fiona, and today's class is a 75-minute Ashtanga inspired Vinyasa flow class, and it is by special request from some lovely yogis in Barcelona, Mark and Lisa, and it is a little bit more of a challenging dynamic flow, so it's probably more appropriate for those of you who have a more established practice, or you're a really keen beginner and you have a reasonable level of fitness. The only prop you might need today is a block, and if you don't have a block, you can use a really large book. And I hope you enjoy practice. Thank you so much for joining. Namaste. And to get started today, we'll start in a comfortable cross-legged seat. Please feel free to take a blanket underneath your sit bones just to help elevate your spine, lightly tilting the pelvis forward and allowing your knees to relax down. Lifting tall through your spine, the sides of the waist, and conscious that you're just balancing the crown of your head over your pelvis. You can lightly nod the chin in toward your chest, gently closing your eyes. And then relaxing your jaw, sealing your lips, and making any final adjustments to your posture so you can feel steady and at ease. And when you're steady, settling your gaze toward your third eye, between the eyebrows and in toward the center of your head. And the third eye center connects us with our own natural intuition, insight and understanding. Gives us a strong sense of awareness. So just letting the eyes feel soft behind your eyelids. And begin to bring your awareness to your breath. Starting to establish a deliberate breath pattern. And starting small and gradually building the length and depth of your breath. Working towards a balanced breath, equal part inhale, equal part exhale. And this is a very breath-centric practice. And when we align our breath, we instill a deep sense of calm to our minds, and it also helps to guide our bodies. It's the most important part of our practice. Once your breath feels in balance, start to breathe an Ujjayi breath, breathing with sound, emphasizing a gentle contraction at the back of your throat. You're siphoning the air in and out, and just tuning into the deep resonance of your breath, letting the sound and texture soothe you. And finding your own meditative rhythm for your practice. And if you are familiar with bandhas, beginning to apply Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, gently contracting the muscles from the back through to the front of your pelvis, so you feel a buoyancy and lift through the pelvic floor at the very end of your exhale, and simultaneously just sensing your navel draw back toward your spine at the end of your exhale. So you maintain some abdominal engagement. Now as you breathe deeply, directing the breath into your ribs, feeling your back broaden. And as you breathe out, that light, gentle lift and contraction through your deep abdominal core. And if you'd like to set an intention for your practice today, just bringing your awareness to a quality or virtue that you would like to cultivate more of in your life. And taking 2 more cycles of breath here. As you feel yourself breathe out, chin toward your chest, eyes to the back of your eyelids. Gently flutter the eyes open and making your way over the legs and into Balasana, child's pose. So just taking yourself to the back of the mat, placing your knees out wide to the side, bringing your big toes to touch. And extending forward through the torso, between the legs, reaching out through your arms, spreading all your fingers. And if you can, let your forehead rest on the mat. Maybe give it a little massage between the eyebrows. And just settle in. Notice how you feel in your body as you start your practice. And staying connected with your breath here, breathing into the back of your lungs. And this is your rest pose, so if you do need to take a break or do less anytime during class, feel free to return here, just joining back in the flow whenever you're ready. And then extending your arms just a little longer, reach a little deeper through to the edge of the fingers. Make full contact with the mat with your hands. And as you breathe in, glide up onto all fours, tucking your toes and making your way into your first downward dog. Lifting your seat toward the sky, keep a deep bend in the knees, and emphasize that feeling of length through the sides of your waist, through the leverage of your arms. Diagonal line from your tailbone all the way down to the back of your skull. Let your head rest heavy. And just taking the next few breaths to perhaps pedal out, move around a little. Feel into the back of your legs, your calves and your hamstrings. And just move in an unhurried way, so all your movements feel like they're going at the pace of your slowest breath. And then settle yourself into stillness, your feet hip width apart, hands shoulder width apart. Your dristi, your gaze point just over the tip of your nose, eyes steady. We'll take 2 more breaths here. As you breathe in, gaze forward between your hands, soft bend in the knees, and take as many steps as you like to make your way to the top edge of your mat. Bring your toes together here. Big toes to touch. Take a halfway lift when you arrive. Hands can slide to the shins, flat back, straight legs. And as you feel yourself breathe out, forward fold, soft bend in the knees, drop your head. Take a slow rise to stand, coming up, reaching your arms out and upward. Take your gaze up to the tip of your thumbs. And as you exhale, rest your hands to your heart center. And just feeling all four corners of your feet pressing down into the mat. And engagement through your quad muscles above your knees without tensing. And feeling for a shape of good posture here, tailbone lengthening down, front of the pelvis lifting up, chest uplifted, gaze steady. And we'll begin. We have 2 rounds of Surya Namaskar A and 2 rounds Surya Namaskar B. And please feel free at any time to skip the Vinyasas if you'd like to do less or a gentler practice today. Inhaling, raising your arms overhead, eyes to the tip of your thumbs. As you exhale, swan dive forward over the legs, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, gazing forward. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, plank pose. Deep breath in here, gaze forward. Exhale, low push-up, and you can modify there with your knees, chest, shin, come down to the floor. As you inhale, bring your ribs forward, lightly arc the spine, Bhujangasana. As you exhale, firm belly, roll back, downward facing dog. 5 deep breaths. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. And continue with that smooth rhythm to your breath, finding your own pace, finding stillness in your body, your gaze settled. Next breath in, gaze forward between your hands. End of your exhale, bend the knees, lightly hop or step to the top edge of your mat. Big toes to touch. Ardha Uttanasana as you breathe in. Forward fold as you breathe out. Rise to stand, breathe in. Settle your hands to your heart, breathe out. Second round, arms circle up and overhead, Urdhva Hastasana. Dive forward over your legs, Uttanasana. Inhale, coming up halfway, send your heart forward, collarbones wide. Exhale, plant the hands and step back to plank pose. Lowering slow on your breath out, Chaturanga. Coming into upward dog or cobra pose, a back bend of your choice. And exhale, downward facing dog, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. A little bit of movement when you arrive and then just settle in. Find that optimal distance between your hands and your feet, giving yourself length and space through the back of your body. Breathe smooth, feeling that fullness of your breath around the ribs, firmness in your belly each time you exhale. Take one more deep breath in, send the gaze forward. End of your exhale, step or lightly float to the top edge of your mat. Halfway lift, breathe in. Exhale, forward fold. Rise to stand as you breathe in, send the gaze up, stretch your whole body out. Exhale, hands to your heart center. 2 rounds, Surya Namaskar B now. As you breathe in, bend your knees, come into chair pose, Utkatasana, arms frame your ears. As you exhale, forward fold over the legs, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, looking forward. Exhale, a Vinyasa, stepping back, high push-up, low push-up. upward dog or cobra, downward facing dog. Toes together, right leg rising as you breathe in, right foot stepping forward to warrior one, Virabhadrasana one. Rise on your inhale, one breath here, gaze up. Exhale, hands to the floor, a vinyasa or downward facing dog if you need to do less. High to low push-up, a back bend of your choice. Downward facing dog. Keep moving with your breath. Left leg rising as you breathe in. Left foot stepping forward, breathe out. Arms rise as you breathe in. Get steady in your feet, anchor your back heel. Exhale, hands to the floor, downward dog or a vinyasa. High to low push-up, upward dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. 5 deep breaths when you arrive. Emphasizing your exhale, just clear out and soothe the rhythm of your breath. Keep your gaze steady, your neck and shoulders relaxed. We have one more round, Surya namaskar B. A deep breath in, looking forward. At the end of your exhale, step or lightly hop forward, top edge of your mat. Toes come together, Ardha Uttanasana, breathe in, really fill up here. Exhale and fold, empty. Rise to stand, straight legs, reach your arms, send the gaze up. Hands to your heart as you breathe out. Weight in your heels, Utkatasana, chair pose, breathe in. Forward fold, breathe out. Ardha Uttanasana, breathe in. Plank pose and lower to chaturanga, low push up as you breathe out. Upward dog or cobra. And downward facing dog. Right leg rising as you breathe in. Right foot forward, warrior one, breathe out. Arms rise, deep breath in. Hands to the floor, breathe out, either downward dog or a vinyasa, your choice. Just try and keep the rhythm of your breath smooth. Let it guide you. Left leg rising as you breathe in, second side, left foot forward, warrior one. Reach the arms as you rise up, firm belly, hands to the floor, and a vinyasa in your own time. And arriving back in downward facing dog for your 5 breaths. Tuning into the texture, rhythm of your breath. Let it soothe you as you rest here. Breathe in deeply, gaze forward. Exhale, bend the knees, step or lightly hop forward. Ardha Uttanasana, breathe in. Forward fold as you breathe out. Rise to stand as you breathe in. Rest your hands to your heart as you breathe out. Take an extra breath or 2. Pause. And then taking your hands to your hips, there's 2, and walk your feet out to hip distance apart. From here we're coming into Padangustasana, big toe bind and gorilla arms. We're going to take a deep breath in, lift and open your chest, look up, and as you exhale just follow the tip of your nose as you fold forward. Feel free to bend your knees as you fold. And from here, when you arrive, take your peace fingers and thumbs around your big toes. And so you can bend your knees really quite deeply here to make that accessible. On your next breath in, come up halfway. See if you can straighten the legs. Do extend the spine. And as you exhale, take your elbows out wide and fold in, bow in toward your legs. pointing the crown of your head down toward the floor. And from here it's easy, just gravity makes your shoulders drop down toward the floor. If you can, lift your shoulders up away from the floor so you give your neck and head lots of room to traction. You're breathing smooth, calming the nervous system in your forward fold. Your next breath in, keep your bind, come up halfway. As you exhale, release your bind and slide the palms of your hands underneath the soles of your feet. Ideally, the big toes, all your toes come to meet your wrist creases here. But if it's not as accessible for you, just hold opposite elbows here, fold forward. Inhale, coming up halfway. Exhale, fold in a little closer toward your legs. And as you press down through the balls of your feet, lift up through the hands. Allow the shoulder blades to slide up your spine. Gently tipping your weight from your heels to your toes and finding your center of gravity here. And taking one more smooth breath in and out. Releasing, so you step off your hands, take a halfway lift, breathe in, forward fold, breathe out. Rise to stand on your breath in, reach your arms up, gaze up. Exhale, hands to your heart center. And then taking your hands to your hips here, we're going to step back with your right foot about 3 feet and extend your arms wide, turning around to your right foot. So you face the back edge of your mat, your right foot now at 12 o'clock, left foot turns in just a little so the outer edge of your heel is parallel with the back edge of your mat. We're going to set up for triangle pose, Trikonasana. And with your arms extended at shoulder height, your shoulders relaxed, reach out over the midline of your right leg as far as you can reach, and then set the right hand down to your shin, perhaps a big toe bind, or you can take your right hand to the outside of your right foot. Keeping both legs strong and engaged, keeping your feet active, soles of your feet spread, pushing the mat away so you feel an upward energy through your body, extension through both sides of the waist. And if it doesn't bother your neck, turn your gaze up to the tip of your left thumb. Breathe. Take one more deep breath in. And as you exhale, push down through your front foot to come all the way back up, arms out wide. And then turning your left foot to face the top edge of your mat. 12 o'clock now, Trikonasana on your left side. Make sure you're strong and firm in the legs. Hinge out over the midline of your left leg now. Left hand down, right hand to the sky. And feel for a straight line, right hand to your left hand wherever you arrive. And gently softening your right rib cage down so you feel a little bit more length through the left side of your waist from your hip to your armpit. Turning your gaze up your dristi to your right thumb here. Crown of the head reaches forward. One more smooth breath in and out. And as you breathe out, take your hands to the floor to frame your left foot. And you're going to pivot now to your right to face the back of your mat and frame your right foot. And here you might like to arrange your feet so they're hip distance apart now. So right foot could move a little further over into the right lane. And if you have a block here, you can place the block on the outside of your right foot just to help elevate the floor to meet your hands. So we're setting up for revolved triangle. We will come up first. So as you breathe in, when you steady, rise, bringing the torso upright. And then as you exhale, taking your right hand to your right hip, keeping your left arm extending. And as you exhale, extend forward with the left arm and diagonally cross it to place your left hand on the outside of your calf, the block, or the floor there. It's nice to ground into something. And with your right hand on your right hip, just begin to revolve around to your right. So try to keep pressing down through the big toe mound of your right foot and your inner heel. Keep your left leg engaged and straight as you revolve. And if you have your balance here, just start to turn your gaze up toward your right shoulder, perhaps toward your right thumb with your right arm extending. And drawing a straight line now from your right hand to your left hand. Breathe. And revolve triangle is very good for improving your circulation in your lower spine and in your abdomen. Also improves your balance and teaches you to rotate through your spine while maintaining stability in your torso and legs. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, release, hands to the floor and pivot around the long edge of your mat, so you come to frame your left foot now, arranging your feet, perhaps left foot over in the left lane for revolve triangle on the second side. So once you're steady in your legs and your feet, on your breath in, rise to stand, taking your left hand now to your left hip and keeping your right arm extended. As you breathe out, start to reach forward and revolve. Right hand to the block, your calf or the floor, and staying steady and grounded in your back heel. And you can start to turn your gaze up over your left shoulder, perhaps taking the left arm up toward the ceiling, but do try and avoid your head moving beyond your shin, as you'll lose the axis of rotation there and probably your balance. So just try and feel as steady as you can, and pushing down through your feet often helps. Taking one more deep breath in and exhale, eyes down, hands down to frame your foot. We'll step back through a vinyasa, stepping back to plank pose. Exhale, low push-up. Upward dog or cobra, take your time, savor your breath, exhale, downward facing dog. 5 deep, smooth breaths. And as you arrive here, just spreading through the architecture of your upper back, really feeling shoulder blades moving away from the midline of your back. Feel your legs strong, your arms engaged. And we'll take one more deep breath in, gazing forward. At the end of your exhale, step or lightly hop forward to the top edge of your mat. Bring your toes to touch. Take a halfway lift, breathe in. And exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Rise to stand as you breathe in. And exhale, hands to your heart. Just pause there. The next sequence we're going to flow and hold, and you might need your block. So if your block is at the front edge of your mat, you might like to shift it to the right side of the back of your mat. So just standing nice and tall, hands at your heart. Next in breath, take the arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold over the legs. Inhale, coming up halfway, looking forward. And as you exhale, step your right foot back and about 4 foot now, longer stride. And you're going to pivot around to your right, turn toward your right foot at the back edge of your mat, framing your right foot. Now you can take the block here on any side of the block to elevate the floor to meet your hand, or take your right hand to the outside of your right foot. And we're setting up for side angle pose here. Straighten out through your back leg. Nice deep lunge in the front leg toward a right angle. And then slowly reaching the left hand up toward the ceiling. So if this doesn't feel spacious for you, and quite often it doesn't because of our flexibility in our legs, perhaps even our spine or our shoulders, feel free to take your right forearm to your right knee for a more accessible version here. Do try to keep the right knee pointing forward and almost pointing the knee toward the little toe side of your front foot. See if you can get a little bit of a deeper lunge without taking the knee beyond your ankle. And breathe. Open and spacious across your chest through the reach of your arms. And as you breathe out, we're going to take our hands down, frame your foot. And here we'll take the back knee to the floor, a little bit different here. Coming into a low lunge, reach your arms up alongside your ears. And as you breathe out, press your palms, take your hands to your heart. So from here we're going to twist and revolve. We'll take our left elbow to the outside of your right knee. And you can keep your back knee down if it feels more comfortable and accessible for you here. Or you can slowly start to lift the back thigh, balancing on the balls of your back toes to revolve. It's easier to balance if you keep your gaze down. You can challenge your balance by taking the gaze up over your right shoulder and twist. So you're revolving through the middle of your back and the upper back, trying to keep your bandhas engaged, your deep abdominal muscles here for stability. And taking one more deep breath in. As you exhale, eyes down, release. Hands either side of your front foot. And if you like the block and you're using the block, take it with you now. Pivot around to your left foot now to set up on the other side. Making sure your left toes point forward here and the block on the outside of your left foot. Nice deep lunge in the front knee. And keep your back leg really engaged so you can almost sense a cave in the arch of your back foot. And slowly just making your way into your side angle, your version, the one that feels spacious for you. And your breath is your best guide here. So if your breath becomes choppy or a little uneven, see if you can modify, change your shape to make it more easeful. And of course, another variation here, right arm overhead. And taking one more deep breath in. And as you exhale, eyes down, hands down, frame your front foot, pop up onto the balls of the back toes and take the back knee to the floor there. Reach the arms up alongside your ears. And then press your palms, take your hands to your heart. Setting up for a reverse prayer twist here. And traditionally in the Ashtanga series, this is revolved Parshva. I just thought this would be a little bit more accessible, but feel free to take that version if you're familiar with it. We're twisting now to our left. And back thigh can lift up in space if it feels good. And try and keep your hips nice and level. Your back thigh engaged, your breath steady. And take one more deep breath in. As you exhale, release, take your hands down, eyes down, and either a vinyasa here or stepping quietly back to downward facing dog. If you're moving through your vinyasa, move slow in an unhurried pace. And we'll all meet up in downward facing dog. And taking 5 breaths when you arrive. Feel and count your breath. Maintaining integrity in your form, equal effort through the arms and the legs. Hollow belly. And one more smooth breath in, gaze forward between your hands. end of your exhale, step or lightly hop forward to the top edge of your mat. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, and exhale, forward fold Uttanasana. Rise all the way to stand, stretch out through your body, reach through your arms and the gaze up. And as you exhale, hands to your heart center. Just pause, take a moment. And then shift your hands to your hips. And we're going to come into Prasarita Padottanasana, wide-legged forward fold. So you're going to step your right foot back and take a really long stride now. Turn toward the long edge of your mat. Angle your heels out, your big toes in. And keeping your hands at your hips here, upright through the spine. Now, as you fold forward here, if you are tighter through your hamstrings, feel free to put a bend in the knees. Otherwise, you're engaging your quadricep muscles from your kneecaps up, making sure the legs feel firm so you get a nice safe stretch through the hamstrings. Take a deep breath in, open through your chest, gaze up. And as you exhale, just follow the tip of your nose as you fold forward between your wide legs. And you can fold forward any amount here. If it feels good to pause halfway, do that. And very simply here, we're going to release the hands down the legs. And again, you can pause halfway with your hands on your shins, below your knees. Or you can run your hands all the way down, perhaps even taking your peace fingers and thumb around your big toes. When you find your edge, take a halfway lift, extend through your spine, both sides of the waist. And as you exhale, forward fold here. And if you've got that bind, your elbows are pointing out wide to the side. Your shoulder heads are lifting away from the floor. And your head is resting, spine cascading down. And take a couple more cycles of breath here. Just enjoy the feeling of being upside down, finding that optimal place in your body where you feel at ease. And releasing your bind now, or your fingertips just to the floor underneath your shoulders, take a halfway lift. As you exhale, hands to your hips. Nice firm abdominals, firm legs, rise all the way to stand. And keeping your legs just where they are, now take your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers. Take a deep breath in, lift and open your chest, a shoulder stretch now, so careful of your shoulders, not overdoing it. Forward folding between your legs. So your arms can float away from your back, just in your comfortable range of motion. Really smart here not to overdo it through the shoulders. Everyone's got their own range of motion and you're just trying to restore yours. So if you feel any resistance, just pause, breathe, and let your breath guide you. And softening the expression in your face. Really let your head rest down. And take 2 more deep breaths in and out. And gently release your fingertips to the floor underneath your shoulders. Take a halfway lift. Exhale, walk around to the top edge of your mat. So you frame your foot and go ahead, step forward, bring your toes together. Halfway lift when you arrive. Exhale, forward fold. Rise to stand as you breathe in. And as you exhale, rest your hands to your heart center. Pause. So our next sequence, we're blending and varying the traditional primary series. And we're going to begin with Uttita Hasta Padangastasana, and it'll be a modified version, but if you're familiar with the full version, you can take it here. and we're going to blend it with our pyramid straight after. So it'll look and feel a little different to the traditional series here. So we're going to begin by balancing on your right foot. Start by spreading the sole of your right foot and all your toes, and raise your left knee. So your left hand can come to your left knee, right hand to your right hip, and your option here is to take your peace fingers and thumbs around your big toe and extend the left leg out straight. I'm going to demonstrate with a bent knee here. It feels more stable for me. So we'll take a few breaths, find your steady gaze, and then we're going to challenge our balance by taking the left knee out to the side, or you can have your straight leg moving out laterally. And then you can keep your gaze forward here, or start to very slowly shift your gaze out over your right shoulder. And then from here, take your gaze forward first, find your balance, and then bring the left leg back, left knee or straight leg back. Staying balanced. From here, you can shift both hands to your hip, and you can keep your left knee bent or extend your left leg out straight. Balance here. Try not to lean back. Stay really upright with a firm belly. Strong through your standing leg. And then from here, bend both knees. We're transitioning slowly to step back with the left foot, 3 foot into pyramid pose. So once you feel your left foot land, bring your feet hip width apart and reach your arms up overhead. From here, take your arms behind your back, and a few options here. You can catch either opposite wrists or press your knuckles together, catch opposite elbows, or come into reverse prayer behind your back. Push actively and equally down through both feet. Lift and open your heart. And as you exhale, forward fold over your right leg. So keeping the outer edge, pinky toe side of your left foot grounded on the mat, a strong back leg. You might like a little bend in the front knee, perhaps a little micro bend. Try and keep that extension through the front and back of your spine by broadening through your collarbones, reaching the crown of your head forward, and you're folding forward at any amount here. Breathing calmly. You're extending through the back of your hamstrings here, strengthening, toning the muscles in and around your feet, ankles. Pushing down through your front foot, come all the way up as you breathe in. And as you exhale, we're just going to step to the top edge of the mat and bring the toes together. Take a moment, and in this moment, spread the sole of your left foot, your next standing leg, so you feel very steady. Hands can shift to your hips if they're not already there, and then raising your right knee to point the right knee forward. And you can take your bind here, and if you are taking that bind and extending the leg, try and keep your right shoulder in line with your left shoulder. So if it is being tugged forward, see if you can balance out through the shoulders, bring the arm bone back in toward its socket. And then slowly taking the right leg out to the right, away from your center. You might like to shift your gaze out over your left shoulder. And of course, if you have a bent knee, your knee's still bent. Firm in the belly, upper abdominals engaged here around your center of gravity. And then turning your gaze back forward, Try and hold steady. If you fall, it's quite okay. It's not far to fall here. Bring the leg back to center. And then extend your leg out straight. So you're flexing your toes, lifting it up as high as you can, standing tall through your upper body, good posture. And then bend both knees as you transition to step the right foot back about 3 feet. Land it on your mat so you're steady, both feet grounded. Reach the arms up overhead. Taking your hands behind your back, and any bind that you like here, it's a shoulder opening shape with your body here and strengthening for your upper back. So try and squeeze the shoulder blades in toward each other as you open your heart and chest, and fold forward over your front straight leg, over its midline. So your torso is moving very subtly to the right and then down. And again, feel free to come down any amount. Please try and keep that long, unwrinkled feeling through the front of your chest. Your shoulder head's lifting up so you're not rounding or collapsing through the chest. Big toe mound, inner heel pressing down, front foot. And keep that weight there as you breathe in, come all the way back up. And as you exhale, step forward to the top edge of your mat and just shake your legs out and find your even, steady Tadasana. So big toes touch, heels slightly apart, hands to your heart center. Next sequence we've got Surya namaskar, A, and then a flow. Deep breath in, reach your arms up overhead. As you exhale, dive forward over your legs. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, just moving one movement, one breath. Exhale, step back through your Vinyasa, high to low push-up, upward dog or cobra, and downward facing dog. We'll keep it rolling. Nice deep breath in, look forward. End of your exhale, step or lightly hop forward to the top edge of your mat. Halfway lift, breathe in. Exhale, forward fold. Rise to stand as you breathe in. Exhale, hands to your heart. Chair pose as you breathe in, bend your knees, reach your arms, Utkatasana, eyes up. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, a Vinyasa or downward facing dog if you need to do less. High to low push-up, upward dog or cobra, and downward facing dog. Toes together here at the back of your mat, right leg rising as you breathe in. As you exhale, step your right foot forward between your hands, warrior one. Rising on up. And exhale, sink the front thigh, point the knee forward and pause. About 5 breaths here. See if you can really expand and brighten your breath into your torso. And see if you can feel steady, very grounded in the feet and your legs supporting you. Take a deep breath in, press your palms, and as you exhale, open out warrior two now, and you might like to lengthen your stride. Right toes can creep forward, make sure your right knee and your toes are in line, pointing forward at 12 o'clock. Arms out wide to the side, sensing your collarbones almost a little higher than your shoulders, so you're very uplifted through the chest. Deep breath in. Exhale, hands to the floor, frame your foot, a Vinyasa, or take rest, downward facing dog, and we can all meet up there. Move with your breath, no need to hurry. And bringing your toes together there at the back of your mat, left leg rising as you breathe in. Left foot forward to warrior one, breathe out. Arms rise, breathe in. Pause and hold as you breathe out. Keep breathing. And these are endurance, stamina building postures. So really aerating your lungs with your breath. Let your palms touch, lower them to your heart center, open wide into Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2 now. So your back leg stays straight, firm and engaged. The front of your pelvis is lifting up, your abdominals engaged in that breath pattern that you established at the start of the class. It's still relevant here, you're breathing wide into your ribs, keeping a lightness, buoyancy through the pelvis, your upper body. One more deep breath in. And exhale, eyes down, hands down to the floor. Take a vinyasa, stepping back through high push-up, chaturanga, elbows pointing back, ribs forward, upward dog or cobra. Savor your breath. The moment, exhale, downward facing dog. And taking 5 smooth, deep breaths. And then from here we are going to transition to sit in the middle of our mat. If you're familiar with your light hop, crossing your legs and sending your legs through, you can take that by all means. Otherwise, just crossing your legs in front of you and coming to sit, extending your legs out straight. And we'll come into a forward fold Paschimottanasana. Toes are flexed, kneecaps point toward the ceiling. Modify if you'd like here with your feet about hip width apart. You could even bend your knees if you're particularly tight through the hamstrings, and hopefully you're feeling a little warmer now. Sitting evenly on your sit bones, reach your arms up alongside your ears. And as you exhale, fold forward, and we're here for 5 breaths, so just find your edge incrementally in that time frame. Lifting, extending on your inhale, folding, bowing in on your exhale. And keeping your legs engaged. And softening your facial muscles. And take one more round of breath. As you breathe in, come all the way up. And here we're going to come into East Pose. This is our reverse plank. A modification here is tabletop. You can bend your knees, take your feet hip width apart. Position your hands behind you so your fingertips point toward the top edge of your mat. Or you can have your legs out straight here. As you breathe in, you're lifting up nice and slow, engaging your arm muscles and pointing the soles of your feet down toward the floor. And if it doesn't bother your neck, you can start to drop your head back and look back. But if it does bother your head, just keep your gaze forward. And same in tabletop. Try and engage the back body so it's lifting and supporting the front of your body. It's quite strong, and it's a nice counterpose to all the push-ups that we do. We're stretching down through our tricep muscles in our arms. Deep breath in. And as you exhale, just slowly melt down onto the mat. From here, we can take a vinyasa, or you can stay and pause here if you need to take rest. Crossing your legs, taking your hands forward, either hop or step back through high to low push-up. Upward dog or cobra, and exhale, downward facing dog. And then from here, a little variation again, we're going to step our left foot in between our hands so you look like you're in a lunge. Coming up onto your fingertips, hug in and up through the belly. See if you can shoot your right leg all the way through to come to sit. So keeping your right leg straight, we'll make our way into Janu Sirsasana. Allow your left knee to fold out to the side, left foot inner upper right thigh. And then firm your right leg straight, so the back of the leg's pressing actively into the floor, toes are flexed. Inhale, reach your arms up alongside your ears to find length through your spine. As you exhale, very consciously draw the navel back toward your spine and fold. And again, about 5 breaths, just creeping your way into this forward fold. There's no need to rush or pull, just being kind in your body. And your hands may not reach your foot, or they may do, and it's completely incidental. You're just finding a good shape in your body, one where you can breathe. And as you breathe in, you're gently rising up. And we'll switch sides with the legs, your left leg out straight now. Even on your sit bones, reach the arms nice and tall. Make sure your left toes are flexed. And exhale, forward fold. I do feel like sometimes I'm the quad police, but engaging your quads and flexing your toes does help to safely lengthen into the back of your legs. Take a few breaths here. You can allow your chin to lightly nod in. Just notice the shape in your upper body. And if you were asked to find good posture there, just making those subtle adjustments to find that shape. Oftentimes we collapse and round into our upper back in our forward folds, particularly if we're tight. So just moving with integrity here. And on your next breath in, gently peeling up. And from here, we'll just take our feet around in front of us, our knees bent, feet to the floor. And we're going to drop back onto the soft part of our buttocks, slipping the hands behind the back of your knees. So you're going to balance right on the tippy toes there and on the soft part of your buttocks. And now we're going to raise our legs. We're coming into boat. I probably should have said that. Half boat Ardha Navasana. So legs at a right angle, shins parallel with the floor. And try and find that upright again, that upright position through your upper body. Good posture. So you can feel a lift from the very pit of your pelvic floor all the way up the central channel of your spine. And if you need to keep a hold through the back of your legs, do that. Otherwise, reach your arms alongside your calves. And keep your gaze steady to the tip of your toes. Full boat is always an option here. Quite strong for the hip flexors and requiring quite a bit of flexibility. Stay in your half boat if it's more comfortable and your torso's more upright. One more deep breath in. And as you exhale, we're going to cross our legs, walk over our legs, and make your way back through a vinyasa. High to low push-up, upward dog or cobra, and find downward facing dog. And just notice how you feel here after a few seated forward folds. Stretch out long through your arms. Notice how you feel in the back of your legs. And take a few breaths. Our next series of postures, we are going to come down onto our backs and again take a little light hop, cross the legs, come down, or shift your legs around in front of you and come to the middle of your mat. Lay down on your back, keep your knees bent, feet to the floor. We're setting up for bridge pose. And we'll take 2 rounds of bridge pose and then an inversion. Lots of different options and modifications. So with your feet on the floor, place them hip width apart, big toes lightly pigeon-toed, heels quite close to your buttocks, arms alongside your body. Make sure you're in a straight line through your spine. Take a deep breath in here. As you exhale, flatten out through your low back spine, pressing it into the mat. And as you breathe in, raise your hips. And just come into an arc through the spine that feels uniform and comfortable. Extending your tailbone toward the back of your knees. And letting your gaze just fall lightly over the nose, down your chest. So in your peripheral vision you can see your ribs expand with your breath. Try and stay fully grounded through all 4 corners of your feet. And that feeling that your thighs are active, drawing toward one another. One more deep breath in. And exhale. Very slowly peel down through your spine. And then we'll set up for bridge number 2. If you're familiar with Janurasana, wheel pose, you can find that posture now. I'll demonstrate bridge again. It doesn't quite suit my body to come up in such a steep arc to the spine, but if it suits you and you love it, do it right now. Otherwise, arms down by your side, take a deep breath in. Exhale, flatten out. Inhale, lifting up. And an option here is to take a bind, interlacing the fingers underneath your buttocks, and that gives you oftentimes a little bit more opening through the chest as you draw your shoulder blades toward one another, nestling the arms a little closer toward each other. And keep your gaze steady. You're trying not to turn your head here. So just trying to find a bit of stillness, calm, in a posture that's usually quite challenging and energetic. So taking one more deep breath in here, really fill up. Exhale, release the hands, rock off your shoulders and roll down through your spine. And now just taking your knees in toward your chest. Take a little rock side to side. Maybe some circles to roll out through the small of your back and the sides of your hips. So our next option here, and traditionally sequence would come into shoulder stand and fish pose. If you'd like to take a gentler practice, then by all means, if you have a blanket here, take it underneath your buttocks and take your legs straight up toward the ceiling. So you find a mild inversion, and this is particularly good if you've got any troubles with your neck or your shoulders here, or if you're not familiar at all with shoulder stand and you haven't done it in a live class before. If you are ready for shoulder stand and you know your way, we're going to spend 5 breaths in plow pose, about 10 breaths in shoulder stand, coming back to plow pose, and you can take any variation there, spider pose, and then we'll make our way down and come into fish pose. So I'll talk you through. When you're ready, arms alongside your body, with a little bit of momentum, sweeping your legs out overhead. And if your toes don't touch the floor, that's quite okay. Make sure you're comfortable in your low back spine. If you're feeling any tugging here or any discomfort, just take your legs up and do the modified version. Most importantly here, keep your gaze steady so you don't turn your head. Breathe into the back of your lungs and start to support your spine, preparing to bring the legs up. Hands come to the small of your back. Fingertips point toward the ceiling, and you're walking your hands down toward your shoulder blades, narrowing the space between your elbows. And obviously, if you have more tighter shoulders here, it's very hard to get your legs straight up and down. So just be compassionate with yourself wherever you're at, with the body that you have this morning. Raise the legs up toward the ceiling. And then once your legs are elevated, sometimes you can find a little bit more room to move the hands down. And try and keep even pressure through all your fingers there. Another way to feel a little lighter in this posture is to push down with everything you've got in contact with the mat. So you have that rebounding energy coming up through your body. Legs stay engaged here without being too rigid. You can point the toes or flex the toes. And those of you with your legs up, if you're comfortable, stay right there. If you'd like to come down, please feel free. You can come into Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined cobbler's pose. The knees can come out wide, soles of the feet together, another restorative pose. Those of you in shoulder stand, there is a opportunity to take a balance here. If you are feeling very steady, bend the knees out wide to the side, bring the soles of the feet together. And traditionally, this next posture you do in lotus pose, but I find that this is a nice variation. You can take your hands to your knees and balance here. If that doesn't work for you, keep your arms on the floor to steady yourself. And if you roll out, that's okay. We can meet back in plow pose there. So from here, just taking the knees together, feet back out overhead, halasana, plow pose. You can point the toes if your feet are on the floor there, just to get that different shape through your body, different stretch through the top of your feet. Hands can interlace behind you. And then very slowly, with control, knees can bend in toward your face as you roll down through your spine. And we'll all meet back here, and we'll come into Matsyasana, fish pose. So you're going to bend the knees, take the feet to the floor, lift the buttocks and place your hands underneath your buttocks, sitting on your hands, extending your legs out. Point the toes or flex your toes. Narrow your elbows in toward one another. As you breathe in, lift and arch your spine. And then taking the gaze back to land on the very crown of your head, looking back behind you. And feel that beautiful stretch through the throat and the jaw. You can open and close your mouth there as a way of releasing and stretching out through the jaw and throat. And keep remembering to breathe, a nice steady breath, nice counter pose for shoulder stand, flexion to extension through the neck. And then bringing your chin back in toward your chest. Lower yourself very slowly down onto your back. And tuck the knees in toward your chest, gather them in with your arms. Give yourself a hug and a little rock side to side. And then taking your feet to the floor, we are going to move into a reclined twist and then a seated forward fold. So any twist that suits your body, you can just stack the knees, taking the knees over to your left. You could cross your right leg over the top of your left leg with your knees to the left. Or you could take your feet out wide and just windshield wiper your knees over to the left. And that's possibly the most open and spacious option. Your arms out wide, palms down or up. Gaze shifts over to your right. And really allow your legs to feel heavy here. Let go of any gripping. Allow your breath to relax and feel easeful. And taking one more deep breath in. Exhale, firm the belly and come all the way back up. And shifting sides, any arrangement with the legs there. And being conscious how you place yourself so your spine stays in one straight line. Sometimes it's nice to pick up your head and just place it back down. Often it finds the top of your spine when you do. And then really settle in. Breathe smooth and calmly. And one more deep breath in. Exhale a firm belly as you come back up. Hug both knees in toward your chest, and as you do, cross your legs, catch a hold of your feet. And with a little bit of momentum and a few rolls through the spine, roll back through to your upper back, just massaging the whole length of your spine. Roll up. And you can take a few rolls or just land in a cross-legged forward fold, ideally crossing the opposite leg that you had at the start of the class in front. And finding length through your spine before you forward fold. Walking the hands forward any amount, and if you are tighter here, arms can be out wide to the side. Just make the shape work for you. Allowing yourself to surrender and bow in. Preparing yourself for a well-earned Savasana. And when you're ready, just making your way into Savasana. As an alternative, you could sit for seated meditation. If you are lying back, find any comfortable props that you may like here. Lay yourself down on your mat, perhaps a blanket over you or as a pillow underneath your head. Nice way to support your low back is to roll a blanket underneath your knees. Let your feet fall out to the side, let your heels feel heavy. Lay your arms away from your body and your palms face up. And gently close your eyes. And allow yourself to really rest here. Take a few extended out breaths, just as a way of staying in that place of surrender, indicating to your nervous system to calm down. And yogis, I hope you enjoyed class today, slightly longer, perhaps more challenging. And thank you for joining and practicing. And just pause and rest here for about another 5 minutes. Really soak in the essence of your practice. And see you on the mat next time. Namaste.